Hello everyone, welcome to News Extra, and today we're talking with Jessica Groskopf, UNL Extension Educator, about the Stronger Together Women in Ag Conference that's coming up October 5th at the John Harms Center. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now this is not, usually when we think of Women in Agriculture Conference, it's usually a full-blown multi-day event, many speakers, many different sessions. In this case, this is a kind of a compressed one that's localized here to Scottsbluff. Explain a little bit about the event.
Yeah, so Stronger Together is an opportunity for women in all facets of agriculture to come together just for a morning. I know it's been a crazy year and we're right in harvest and we're starting to kick off harvest, and we just wanted an opportunity for women to come together and take a little bit of a deep breath. We've had one heck of a year, and so this is just that opportunity to get some renewal, and I think that's really important, especially for women in agriculture.
Now, what are the topics that we're going to be discussing during this mini conference, if you will?
Yeah, so Jolene Brown is coming. Jolene is a farmer and family business consultant, and she's going to, first of all, get us laughing, get us commiserating with one another, and then she's going to walk us through 10 ways to get some renewal and some stress relief in our farms and ranches. She's a farmer from Iowa, and she knows what 2019 has been like.
Oh, yeah.
And so she's just going to come and share her wisdom with us. She's a fantastic speaker, and so we're really excited to have her here with us.
And if people are interested in maybe getting a little bit of a preview of what she talks about, there is a link, as I understand it, on the UNL Extension website for the Women in Agriculture page, correct?
That's correct. So yep, you can find us at Nebraska Women in Agriculture. We're on Facebook as well, and you can scroll down and find a video of Jolene just introducing herself and giving you a little bit more insight about her and what she's about. Well,
you've been out and about, quite a bit, obviously, talking with producers, both men and women, involved in agriculture, and kind of getting the pulse of what people have been going through this very difficult year. What have you found as you've been out and about?
Even before blizzards and hail and canal breaks, there was a lot of stress out there. And so I think it's really important that we realize that we're not the only ones. I think sometimes when we're at our kitchen table with our spouse, we start talking about all the things that we're dealing with. And sometimes it's hard to talk about those things with other people. And so this, again, is just that opportunity to find somebody else and realize I'm not the only one. And there could be a network, if you want to create one, of women that get it, that you could just go grab a cup of coffee with and say, this was my day, and commiserate a little bit, but also realize that this community is full of farmers and ranchers that are going through the exact same thing. And the best thing we can do in tough times is come together.
Yeah. And of course, there are a lot more resources available for women and men in agriculture through UNL Extension. We'll be back on News Extra in just a moment to talk with you about that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to News Extra. And I have Jessica Groskopf, UNL Panhandle Extension Educator, and we're talking about Stronger Together Women in Agriculture Conference coming up October 5th at the Harms Center at WNCC. Again, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about the resources that are available, not only for women in agriculture, but men in agriculture, that are available through the Extension Service, both in person and online.
Right, so there's lots of resources that Extension has for both men and women. For women in particular, we really enjoy having live events for them so that they can connect with one another. So the Women in Agriculture program focuses on a series of programs that we run throughout the fall and winter across the state that allow women to come together and get some of those questions answered that they might have. Now you might be wondering, well, why would we just have a women's program? Well, women are more comfortable when they're in a group of other women, and they're better able to get their questions answered. So that's why we like to utilize that format, and research shows that that's important to them.
And it's that in-person support that tends to be very important, that you don't get through necessarily social media or online forums. And of course, the presentation by Jolene that's coming up sure sounds like it's going to be entertaining, informative, and supportive.
Absolutely. So the best thing about Jolene is that she's a farmer. And so when we start talking about what's going on, she gets it. She lived through the same year that we lived through. And so that's really important. The other thing is that she's a family farm business consultant. And so not only does she work with her operation, but she works with other families across the country. And so that's really cool that she has experiences and understands that agriculture is different everywhere, and that families are struggling in the same ways. And so when you attend her workshops, you realize, boy, she gets it. She gets it. You know, she's been madder than a hornet, and she'll tell you about it. And so that's really something that's important and positive about Jolene.
And for people who want to take part in the conference coming up?
Yeah, we'd like you to register online by October 2nd, if possible. That's next Wednesday. And if not, you can register in person, but we can't guarantee that you'll get a spot if you wait until Saturday morning. Registration opens at 9 and the conference starts at 10. We'll feed you lunch and we'll conclude at 1 p.m.
And the cost is $25
Yep.
for registration?
That's absolutely right.
Which sounds very reasonable for lunch and a good 3 hours of information and camaraderie and a way to talk a little bit about things that have been going on, find some support not only from Jolene but also from some of your fellow producers who are out there in the Panhandle. That's the Stronger Together Women in Agriculture Conference coming up October 5th from 10 until 1 at the Harm Center at WNCC. Jessica, thank you very much for joining us on News Extra today.
Thank you.